Hey folks, welcome back. Today we've got some exciting news from the BugBytes developers. The Space Haven Alpha 16 progress report has been released, and this is kind of like a roadmap of some of the new features that we might see in the upcoming version of the game. So I'm just going to give a quick synopsis of those features. The first new thing is a mission system. So this is quick disclaimer, everything that we see here, this is like a work in progress, so anything that's in here could be changed or canceled or pushed to a future release. We don't really know for sure yet what's going to happen, but these are the things that they're planning and working on right now. So the first thing is the mission system. So we have this little UI here that is kind of like a tentative design for what it would look like. We have this notion that you can rendezvous with a ship, escort it to a particular location, and then it gives the destination that you're supposed to escort to and the ship that you're supposed to escort, I guess. And then maybe you can click this button to open up the star map, I'm not sure. And then you can choose one of these three rewards here. You can either get beer, you can get food, or you can get an extra crew member. So the extra crew member seems like a pretty good deal depending on your situation. You might want to go for one of these other things too. But this is the new mission editor. And they're trying to add small, simple missions that don't have a lot of lore, don't require a lot of complicated development, but they add some interactivity with the factions in the game, and they add some kind of life to the galaxy, some sense that things are going on. And they're looking for suggestions for missions that they can put in the game. So if you're interested in suggesting a mission type, go to the Space Haven Discord, which is, I'll post the join link in the chat here, but you can go and... Where's the suggestions? There it is. Go to the suggestions channel and post your mission ideas. And keep in mind, guys, they're trying to keep it simple. And some missions can sometimes be harder than you think to implement, or they may just not have time. So not every suggestion, even if it's a good suggestion, is going to get incorporated. But if you have ideas, definitely share them on the chat, and hopefully we'll see them in the game. The next big set of features has to do with space stations. Now, this is something that they had promised in their Kickstarter initially way back when. That was one of their stretch goals, that they wanted to have a different mode of the game where you could build a space station instead of building a ship. And rather than like exploring the galaxy or whatever, you could kind of do almost like a SimCity type of experience where you could build up a space station and people come visit your station and stuff like that. And they haven't really figured out exactly how that's going to work yet, but they're just kind of taking a first pass at introducing space station building mechanics into the game. So it's not really clear how this is going to affect sort of the overall flow of gameplay. Whether there is going to be a different game mode that they haven't figured out yet, or whether somehow your space station is going to support your ship that you have out exploring the galaxy. It's not really clear. But they're just introducing kind of the core mechanics of building a space station. So you can now build a base on an asteroid, just like the ones that we see in the start of the mining game mode, and you can. So there's a couple changes that are in the game that are related to that, or that they're working on that are related to that. So the first is that they're splitting up the mining the pod hangar so that it has two different types of pods. There's a mining pod, and then there's a builder pod. I think this one here on the left, these four images here, are the mining pod, and then this one is a builder pod, I believe. And the idea is that the mining pods are going to continue working the way that they do, and then the builder pods, we're switching it so that it flies on top of the hull instead of underneath, because it doesn't make sense for them to build on top of an asteroid by putting stuff from underneath. So that's kind of and then when you get one of these pods, you can either build a mining pod or a builder pod in it, depending on which you want that particular pod hangar to do. So you won't be able to do both from the same hangar anymore, it looks like. Once you do that, you can start building on your asteroid. Let's see, they've done some visual stuff here. They made it so that stuff that's flying above your ship will be grayed out like this, so that you can tell that it's outside the ship, so it doesn't look like you've got a builder pod flying through your living room, which makes a lot of sense. Let's see, you can also walk on the moon base, walk on the surface of the asteroid, which is something you could already do currently. And then they're also modifying the power system and the hull system. They're taking away the concept of, so in the current version in Alpha 15, when you build a hull stabilizer, it has to be at least a certain distance away from all the other hull stabilizers, and that kind of dictates the amount of system points that you have available, and also the footprint of your ship on the sector map. So what they're doing is they're doing away with that minimum distance requirement, so that you can put all your stabilizers together if you want to, and they are kind of splitting it so that the hull stabilizer is now its own different thing that's just providing hull points, and it's not, if I understood correctly, it's not dictating the area of the ship, or like you don't have to put one in each grid quadrant on the sector map, is what I'm trying to say. So that's how it looks like it's going to work. The new hull stabilizers, and this is what the new stabilizer, it seems like, is going to look like. This is a core facility. Okay, so they split it into two different items. So the hull stabilizer is still going to exist, and it's still going to provide like hit points to your ship, but this new core facility is going to be the one that sets the amount of system points. You're going to have both, it seems like. And then the other thing, they've changed the power system a little bit again. They introduced this concept of a backup power node. They want to eliminate the concept of advanced power, but they still have high power systems and low power systems. And some of the systems, like the production facilities and things like that, will shut off in the event that your ship goes to emergency power. So the ship will continue to run. You'll continue being able to explore and try to find resources and stuff like that while your ship is low on power. And they've revamped the solar panel so that you can use solar panels to operate a ship as well, although of course it's going to take up a lot of space and a lot of resources to do that. Let's see. So hopefully, there's a lot going on with these changes, the station-related changes. Hopefully I've done a pretty good job of summarizing them here, but you can view the full patch notes on the Steam news page for the game, or you can look at the announcements section of the Space Haven official Discord, which I'll link below in the description. They have the concept now of splitting a space station into multiple hulls. So each one of these things is going to be its own separate unit. It's got its own its own basic power grid, and its own set of hit points, I'm assuming, and its own systems. But you can choose to connect the power using cables if you want to. So it looks like in this example that I've given here, there's two hulls that are connected by a power cable on the north side of this asteroid, and then there's two separate hulls that are connected by another power cable on the southwest asteroid. So each one of these things is going to have its own core facility, if I understood this correctly. And this is how they're going to be hooked up together or separate. Some other changes that they're making here, they're making it so that facilities will now degrade from the environment. There's already damage that happens when there's like a hull breach, but now they're also adding damage from things like high temperature or low temperature, and poisonous gas hazards. So those are things to keep an eye out for, and facilities will also break down over time and require maintenance. They're upgrading the crew UI. They're adding the notion of a global schedule. So instead of setting a schedule for each crew member individually, you can have like a shift schedule, and you say, well, this is shift 1 and this is shift 2, which I think is fantastic. And then you can assign crew members to that global schedule. There's also going to be an option to sort crew members by priority in the crew management menu. So you can, and you'll be able to sort them by skill level in the crew management menu, so you can look at each shift and see, okay, what skills do I have available from the crew members that are on this shift. So it makes it easier for you to balance between the multiple shifts and make sure each shift has a complete, functional crew complement, which is pretty cool. This stuff, again, is all experimental, work in progress type of stuff. They haven't announced a release date yet. They think that they might be able to deliver it in October or November, but they haven't said for sure, so that date could change. Anyway, that's it for the Space Haven 16 roadmap. Thanks for watching. If you're watching on Twitch, hang out for a bit because I'm going to do some Space Haven gaming. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe. It's free if you enjoyed the video.